SprintCarUnlimited.com, coming from very wet Bridgeport Motorsports Park. High limit winner, Danny Sams.
Yep.
After the year you've had, the motor issues, everything, we'll get to the race in a minute, but it's got to feel good to put your name on that list.
I didn't even think that was on anyone's bingo card, not even myself to win one. I got to start second there. All I was worried about was running top three, but what a year. I mean, we went through crashing every car. We're down to our spare cars of 2017 that I used to run 360s with. We're down to 2 cars, and we're good on motors now, but we went through every low I believe you can go, and not many highs. And my parents never gave up. My car never gave up. My sponsors never gave up. And to be, rewarded feels amazing.
You're scheduled to start on the front row. The rain comes. You think, what's that like back in the pit area? You think maybe they might cancel, reschedule, then it stops, and then you get a window. Yeah. What are your thoughts through that whole process?
Well, at first it was almost comical, because we were so good in the dash and not getting past for third. And this place is tricky to pass on, but someone's got to be there. And, it starts raining, so it was almost like, of course.
Why not?
Why not? With the year we've had and everything, but we could have hung our hats on that and been happy. And then we went out there for the feature, and I didn't know how the track was going to be. I didn't know what to do, and I tried to run it in on the first start and try to be a hero kind of, and it didn't work. And I ran second for a long time until Gio got lap traffic and said, well, maybe time to move up the track. You're not going to follow him. And I got around him, and I'm not joking. I blacked out in lap 5. I don't know how my laps were or anything, but apparently they were really good because I just kept going, kept pulling them. 2 seconds when the caution came out, and I was looking at that. And then they was like 10. I could look at the board, only 10 in. They're like, take the cars off the track. I didn't even realize it was raining at the point. Wiped my visor, it's soaked. I'm like, oh, okay. And then it was almost comical again because I thought the rule was halfway through they were gonna, do something or everyone gets equal points or whatever. And I was just laughing and then Chase said on the announcements I would win. And then I was doing the rain dance because I didn't want to go back out there if I didn't have to. So, but we were a rocket ship tonight. Our Donut was just ripping, and this is the motor we've always done really good with, and it's something we're definitely going to want more of because this is incredible. And like I said, this car is a couple years old. The car upstairs is really old. It's just we're down on not on much, but Scott Bennick's been huge on helping us. Dad's been really smart on the car, and it's been pretty incredible. I don't think it was on anyone's bingo card. Like, go to the track, there's 3 of us, mom, dad, and me. It's just not. No one thinks that's going to happen. So, just so blessed.
Yeah, and the fact that it's 10 laps, you don't care.
No.
The money spends the same.
Yes, yeah, exactly, and that was the thing. We qualified second quick, and the rain came. We thought, and it was comical then. I was like, I'll post that on YouTube and say this is the only laps we got at Bridgeport. We were good, and move on to tomorrow. And they're like, oh, you can get it in. Then we forked the second in the heat, and then we pull a 2 for the dash, and that's the best I've ever pulled a pill for the dash. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. And I was like, keep it on the front row. Keep it on the front row. And we did that, and Gio was really good in the dash, and we weren't as good as him, but we were better than third. So we worked on it some, and then it downpoured. I'm in the car. I'm just like, let's get out there and get 1 lap, because I didn't know the rules. And I was like, let's just get 1 lap in. I was good with top 3, And then it downpoured, and I walked out to the track. It was super wet, super wet. I didn't think they'd ever get it that good. And it actually opened up to about how it was in hot laps, by the end of that. So very unmoving, not many people could move around, and I was one of the few that could, and it worked. That was a lot of that's on dad because my car wouldn't get tight where others ones would, so pretty cool.
How much did you guys need this win?
I would say really bad. You're thinking, you're last in points, you're thinking, what are you going to say at the banquet? It's not embarrassing. Someone's got to be last, but no one wants to be there. Well, at least I got something to, hang my hat on. Who cares where we finished in points and stuff? And we've been on such a beatdown. We just finally turned this corner, the recent weeks, starting in Skagit, and we've just kind of been in the mix, but not really, in the mix for top 10s, but that's about it. And so to take that next leap is huge. We did good at Eldora, but not good at the beginning of the night. And that's to put it all together is huge, and it shows we can do it. A little team, that's for any kid that's watching this, you can do it. Just keep trying, keep working at it. And when everyone says doubts you or anything, don't listen to them, just go. No one knows how hard you're actually trying. You put all your eggs in one basket, you can make it happen.
Does this where does this put you, for next year? Do you come back and do this again? Do you maybe look to do something else? How do you kind of approach, because it was a long, hard year?
It was really long and hard, and we don't know what next year holds. No one knows. It's our focus is getting through this year, and it's hard to get more people to help when you're not doing it as good as you could be, and it's hard to sell yourself. But this might help us stay on this national stage, and maybe we can do this more often.
Well, congratulations on the win. Get out of the rain and celebrate.
Thank you.
SprintCarUnlimited.com, coming to you from Path Valley Motorsports Park. We're here with winner Tanner Thorson. Tanner, you won your first career high limit race, full high limit race, a couple weeks ago at Lernerville. 6 races later, you're back in victory lane. Did you need to just get that first one out of the way to kind of get the monkey off your back, and then obviously they just come quicker?
Yeah, definitely, and I just think it's just a matter of just the right chemistry. Like, we're all working really good together. We're all ready to get home, but we're all working really hard, and it's just a lot of effort basically put into our team and our program, and just comes down to having the right people.
Interesting race. This is a place you won at before. I believe it was in a midget.
Sprint.
Right. Okay. How much did that kind of come into play, that experience, and just be able to wait this track out till it got dry, slick, and get to the front?
I feel like, honestly, you feel like you're in a non-wing car here, like legit. And I wouldn't say we were set up close to being like a non-wing car, but we weren't, really too far off as far as, obviously we're on coils, but we're, if we were to be in a bar car, we'd probably be pretty similar to where we were in our non-wing car here when I won. So, yeah, just I think laps here. I've raced here quite a bit actually with midget and non-wing car, and I was leading a midget race and got taken out coming to the white flag, or coming to the checkered actually, and yeah, just I think laps at any racetrack help you, right? It doesn't matter if it's Knoxville here or whatever, and just crazy how good we are on small tracks and we're terrible on big tracks, and there's other teams that are the same, opposite or the same, So, I'll take being good at any of them, and luck sometimes, and then just being good and luck. So, yeah, it's rewarding, man. We've worked so damn hard on our program, and I can say that I feel like I can say this, but I also don't know because I'm not in anybody else's shoes or whatever with their teams. But I feel like we work as hard, or if not harder, than I'd say 95 to 100% of them, honestly. And it's just a testimony to having a good car owner and people that believe in me. And we've had setbacks and stuff like that, and it's just a matter of just still driving forward and being positive and stuff like that. So.
Pass for the lead. You got around outside of Gio, and we're able to just keep working the outside. Obviously a lot of cautions, but still, we're able to get a run on the top. What did you find out there that you were able to kind of dupe him into that and get around him?
I just knew we weren't going to be able to follow him for 30 laps or whatever. Like, honestly, like I felt like I started seeing some lap cars ahead that were making like decent speed up top and really just kind of letting your car build momentum. And and Randall was up there banging the top down, and then Brad was up there, and finally, like, Brad went back down to the bottom, and I knew I had to get Brad on that restart, or else it was over. And just with how bad he defensive races me for whatever reason, I don't know why, but I knew I had to clear him on the start. And yeah, and once we did that, I didn't really want to run the top to middle down in 3 and 4, but I came off right next to Gio, and I just had to momentum it, and it worked. It was like perfect, So, and I kind of kept peeking out of the corner of my eye the 2 laps, like when I passed him and in the lap after, just trying to kind of see if he was still making ground on the bottom, if I needed to move down, and then I didn't see him, and then we got a lot of traffic, and I just honestly tried to use some of them guys. I could have drove by a couple of them, but I was just trying to stay on the outside because I knew whoever was behind me wasn't going to be able to kind of slide me or drive underneath me because there was a guy under there. So it's kind of using them guys as picks a little bit just to kind of, just keep speed, because the bottom and the top were relatively the same speed, like if you hit them right, and got to the lap cars, and it was just hard. They were running side by side, and it was hard to just get momentum built up to pass them. So I just kind of settled there, and like I think the 2 to go, I peeked out of the corner off of 4, and I realized like I'm okay, I'm not checked out, but I just was like, just stay right by that guy. So, yeah, just hats off to my guys, hats off to the track crew. Track was single lane there for a while, but it actually got pretty racy, honestly, I feel, and yeah, it's cool.
What do you need? You mentioned the bigger tracks. What do you need to do to get better on those tracks to kind of make this a complete deal where you're, contending every night?
I think just laps, man. I grew up, first laps in sprint cars were out Chico and Placerville, and those tracks are so small. It's just a matter of, that's just what I grew up racing. You see these guys that are out here that grew up racing at the Grove and Port Royal, they're badass at those places and they struggle at smaller tracks, and luckily enough for us, our schedule is a lot of small tracks, where the Outlaws, I feel like there's a lot more bigger tracks and stuff. And, I just gotta build a notebook more. I feel like if we race in Knoxville every weekend, we'd be really fast. We could get really fast. It just comes down to comfort and just having a set on you I'm to the age of, thank you. I'm to the age, I feel like, where I don't really want to go bash the fence down for no reason unless, I'm comfortable. And that's the big thing that we've worked on, is just getting me really comfortable.
Last thing, 2 wins this year. How important is that to you mentioned building this thing, and just seems like that's the key word, keep building this thing. And how important is it to, if you don't even win one the rest of the year, just getting those 2 wins and toward the end finishing strong?
It's big. I mean, the mojo in the pits, the guys, my sponsors, just keeping everybody happy is, the big thing. This is a business, and straight up, if your guys aren't happy, if your business isn't happy, I don't care what you're doing, driving truck, trash service, whatever. If your guys aren't happy and they aren't enjoying themselves, it's not going to work out. So just trying to keep the pits happy, and and sponsors and car owners and everything. It's just it's a big thing to do. So this is obviously my first time, really not first time, but this is my first time being able to kind of run a program all by myself, besides my midget stuff. That's obviously my stuff, but it's a big learning curve, man. There's a lot of ups and there's a lot of downs, and it's just like one up like this covers the last downs for 2 months. So just got to keep people happy.
Congratulations on the win.
Appreciate it.
Welcome to another edition of the SprintCarUnlimited.com live show. We take questions through the chat, via phone, a lot of topics to hit on. I'm going to forego the intro where we just list a bunch of things to talk about. Obviously, you guys know what's out there. Sale of NARC. Obviously, Danny Sam's winning at Bridgeport. We have outlaw stuff. We have news about KCP Racing. You name it, we can talk about it. If you want to give us a call, it's 844-543-8589. So let's just jump in right away. We've gone a little long the last few weeks, so I want to get through the questions a little quicker tonight. So what do we got? Does Sweet run full-time next season? Since acquiring NARC with Rudine, it seems it's a strong possibility he doesn't race full-time. Brad Sweet's not going to manage the day-to-day operations of NARC. They are putting a race director or slash series director in place. That person will be responsible for the series, kind of similar to what Rich Farmer, I would assume, has the All-Star Circuit of Champions. I don't expect Brad Sweet every day to be taking calls and dealing with NARC. And I think he's going to be busy enough with High Limit. As for, do I think he runs full time next season? I think we'll have to see on that. I know he's told people there was no decision made, so I'm going to go with that for now. But again, he's not going to be dealing with the day-to-day operations of NARC. I think this is and I hit on it on my 90 at 9. I think this was an acquisition that made sense, and I think he's going to put the right people in place for it to be successful. I've never seen more fans at Sharon Speedway as last Saturday. Outlaws draw crowds. It was crazy packed. Yeah, Sharon Speedway, I think for most of their World of Outlaws events, draw big crowds. And they were treated, obviously, to Dale Blaney, one of their own, scoring the victory. It doesn't surprise me that it was a beautiful night out. They weren't dealing with the weather that we had in Central PA and East. So, again, it was a nice night out, and they had a great car count. I believe it was 54 cars, and Dale Blaney got the win. Congratulations to Dale Blaney, a good driver. I guess he hasn't raced since August 11th or something like that. 61 years old, still can get it done. Any thoughts on Kyle Pruitt being released from Shark Racing? He seemed like a good fit. I would agree. They posted, or I should say they've been more consistent this year than the last couple years. They only have 2 wins. I'm sensing this wasn't performance based. I'm sensing that there's something probably a little deeper than that. Something wasn't working off the track because, again, they were better this year. The numbers say he was better this year, more consistent with the World of Outlaws with Kyle Pruitt in the fold. So, I have a call into to Kyle Pruitt, and I've yet to hear back. So maybe he's going somewhere else. With Torgerson back next year, do you think they will join a tour? Funny thing about this, I wrote this on August 18th. I talked about it in a 90 at 9. I did a story on SprintCarUnlimited.com. But yeah, this is not a surprise to me at all because, again, it's something I wrote about a month ago. So, do I think he ends up on a tour? I think if he does, it's high limit. I don't see him running World of Outlaws. I don't think that's something that Jacob Allen wants to do necessarily. That schedule's I would say a little more intense. There's more races. And so I think it's up in the air yet. I thought Ashton Torgerson did a great job this year. Better than, I didn't bag on him like others did when he took the ride, but he surpassed my expectations. And I think a lot of people owe him an apology because I thought he's done a really good job. Path Valley's highly anticipated high limit date has come and gone. And I kind of thought there would be more people there. Do you think high limit is back at Path Valley in 2026? Look, it comes down to dollars and cents. That's what it's going to come down to. And I do not know the dollars and cents. The problem with Path Valley is it doesn't seat a lot of people. It can look full and that's great, but I don't know if that means they make money. These national touring races, you're looking at $120,000 for a regular show when you consider the sanction fee, the purse, all the advertising. It's a big undertaking. So it's going to come down to dollars and cents. If they're not back, then they didn't make money. It's simple as that. With Macri being injured, how high do you put the chances of the PA regulars winning now? Not as good. Macri was easily the favorite in my book to win the National Open for the Posse. The question is, do you consider Pittman Posse? He's in the Kreitz car, but Pittman hasn't raced here locally in, I don't know, since 2012. So I think Pittman has a shot in the Kreitz car. I think Lance DeWeese is an interesting guy coming into the week. He's shown some speed at the Grove. I'm not going to, that's ballsy to make that statement, but he's definitely, I think he can run top 5, maybe top 3. I think he can make some noise. We have some other guys who can make noise. Do I think they'll win? Again, I think Pittman's the best chance in the Kreitz car. And with Macri out, that definitely is a hit to the locals. Would guys like the 24D be better off financially and less ego bruising by competing more in front of OCRS, ASCS, IRA, and just compared to trying to make the show in mid-pack with Woo or High Limit? I think Tim's is perfect for the All-Stars. Now look, he got the win on Saturday night. I know it was only 10 laps. I mean, I have thoughts on that, but he won. So to me, it's a big undertaking, motors, everything all in for these national series. I thought All-Stars would be a good spot for him. Maybe Power I. Gain that experience, build inventory, maybe challenge for a title. So yeah, I kind of see that. And I thought All-Stars would have been a good spot. And like I said, Power I. So it would be something I consider. And then after you build up your inventory, build up everything needed to be on the road, I think then you make that jump. Take your time. There's nothing that says you need to be on the road by the time you're 25. Just ease into it. Now he knows what to expect. I think you dial it back a little bit. Go All-Stars, go Power I, one of those regional series. Try and win that, build your inventory, then go back out. That's what I would do at this point. Did you have Danny Sam's national touring victory on your bingo card? And do you think he will be back with High Limit next year? As I said, I wouldn't do it. I think he got kicked around a good bit. It's expensive being out there. I would like to see him build inventory. I'd like to see him. He knows now what it takes. He's been out there. Dial it back a little bit. Put things in place, and then go out. Did I have it on my bingo card? No, I did not. If you owned your own sprint car, what colors would you pick? I have no idea. I know this. I'd have a silver unpainted wing with the number, and if there was a sponsor on it, fine. But I'd have a silver wing. And it wouldn't have all these goofy lines on it and where they look like jigsaw puzzles. I'm not a big fan of the paint jobs out there or the wraps. I just think they're too busy, and I would have I like the silver wing. So 4 wide, a waste of laps. I'm not going to disagree when it just gets overdone. And when you're pressed for time, don't do it. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Just get the race in. I'm not a big look. It's just been overkill. So can't disagree, but it's okay. I'm not dying on that hill. Love the show. Any thoughts on the track upgrades and improvement that are ongoing at Tri-City Raceway Park in Franklin? I'm okay. It's great. Anytime a track makes improvements, that's great. I'm not keen on the racing against Lernerville. I'm not keen on it's splitting cars. I mean, but as far as from the improvement standpoint, always good. Anytime a track makes improvements, whether it's aesthetic or safety or just accommodations, that's a good thing. Will on line 1. Will, you're first this week. What do you got?
the takeover of NARC. Is it a good thing?
Yeah. Why is it bad? Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's bad at all. I don't see it changing drastically. I think a new regime could help it, and I think Jim Allen and Jim Allen said in a quote in the story that I wrote. Thank you to Joseph Terrell for getting that. He said he just wanted to preserve the history. They've done that. He's going to remain the historian. And now you have a new regime coming in. So yeah, I don't see how it's bad. What are your thoughts on it, Will?
Well, I kind of think about the local racing. You know, the Ocean Speedways, the Petalumas, their car counts. I just don't want the takeover to turn it into a miniaturized version of High Limit. You know, I don't want the family and low budget teams eliminated. You know, I want them to still be allowed to race and have a place to race where they can actually compete.
I don't think that's going to change. I think you're going to have all the same guys running it. I mean, that comes down to competitors. I don't think that comes down to anything they do. It's not like, Brent Marks and Rico or Brad or anybody, those guys are going to pop in there and just for a regular show, because let's face it, it's in California or on the West Coast. So I don't think that's going to happen. So I don't see how or why that would happen. I don't think Brad wants to make drastic changes. I think he wants to build on it. I think he wants to take some of the scheduling conflicts away, maybe streamline a couple things, and I have no problem with that.
I like it that they're going to somewhat clean house of the officials. They're going to get rid of the race director and bring somebody else in to run the series.
There you go. Less shenanigans.
And,
less
that gets
shenanigans.
That's right, the shenanigans. Yeah, that hopefully that'll limit that. It's just I would just like to say that I'd like to see sprint car racing stay prosperous, but at the same time allow the Danny Sam's teams of the world to be able to stay home and compete and maybe have a chance to win once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be good. I don't know if you see a purse hike for NARC. I was talking to Justin Sanders this week, and some of their shows pay $3,500, and I think that's a travesty. Some they had more 5,000 and some higher ones this year, which was good. So I'd like to see a little bit more there, and hopefully Brad can do that and streamline this thing and make it a good regional series.
Right. Yeah. I have hope that it will turn things around and make it a timelier show and better show for the viewer, better show for the fan, the racers, and just make it to where it's a more stable with everything else with the sprint car world outside of California.
No, I don't think Brad's going to do anything to hurt it. I expect maybe some streamlined shows and getting done a little earlier, maybe less support divisions. I don't know on that front. I think that'll all be evaluated, but I think they'll be okay. I expect him to put good people in place and make it even better than it is.
Besides that, what do you think about the show that they had that rained at the feature and Sam's was awarded the win? I don't know what the weather was predicted for that race ahead of time, but it was like a really big gamble to run that show. Now they didn't get it fully in. Well,
the weather was sketchy all day. Once you got to about 5:30, I rephrase that, 6:30. Once you got in that time frame, it was going to be sketchy all night. It rained 3 times. They had to take a little break after time trials. They had to take obviously the break. I actually left the track and was 15 minutes down the road and went back for the third attempt to finish the program. They got 10 laps in. They had a decent crowd. I was really surprised how much it filled in. It didn't look good early, but it filled in decent for the weather and the forecast. I thought they did really well there. I think they pushed it through and did what they could, and they just fell short of halfway. But that halfway rule went out 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, people forget that Lance DeWeese won a 10-lap race at Williams
That's
Grove.
exactly right.
Yes,
That's
it's National Open
fact.
prelim. So I didn't look. It's in the rule book that they can declare it official. So it's official, and Danny Sams is your winner.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it from the people that are there, their side of it. You know, they didn't get a full show.
Well,
I mean, almost, but you know, I guess it does rain on you once in a while. I just think sometimes, you know, shows like that should have been called to alleviate this whole thing.
well, just remember though, there's other Lincoln, for instance, they got everything in but the features. That's a complete program. No refunds, no anything.
Wow.
So in this area in Central PA, once you get qualifying in, all of qualifying through the B main, it's an official show. So, you know, they at least got 10 laps of a feature and got to see a pass for the lead, which there was
Right.
you know.
There was. That was pretty exciting too.
So, no, I mean, look, I'm okay with it.
Okay. Lastly, were you on the edge of your seat during the Dallas game on Sunday?
The edge of my seat. I just shook my head at too bad, just the defense that was played in that game. But no, it was exciting. Again, as I said, Micah Parsons is a front runner, and he had no impact on that game.
Well, and also I've commented on this subject before, but not with you. Micah Parsons, and he ends up in the tent. You know, what is this, the third, fourth game?
Well,
He gets hurt again. You know.
yeah. I mean, look, he's a great athlete. He's a great talent. I don't care that they got rid of him. I actually covered him in high school a few games. So, because he's from the Harrisburg area, which is about, 25 miles away from me. But, I need to see him make a big play in a big game that matters. And I just I'll tell you what you do. If you want to go look at where his sacks are, who he's played and who his sacks come against, just go check it out. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, thanks as always for taking my call.
No
we'll
problem.
Talk to you in the future.
Yep. Thank you. Dave on line 2. Dave, how are you?
Hey, Jeremy, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. Not too bad.
Good job there for Danny Sams. Good to see a guy like that get a win. I believe if he had a little help, somebody besides him and his mom doing engine changes, maybe a decent crew chief, I know they're hard to come by, he'd do a lot better job.
Well, I mean, look, I think anytime, it's his mom, his dad, and him, it definitely makes things difficult. I'm sure if from a financial standpoint, if somebody wanted to help him out, give him more money to get a crew chief, look, that would obviously help. And nobody on that circuit probably needed a win more than him with all the engine trouble they've had this year. You hate to compare that, but look, he did a good job. He was in the right spot at the right time. He made a pass for the lead and won a rain-shortened event. Good for him. And, again, hopefully that gets him through the end of the season, and then he can decide what he's going to do next year.
Yeah, I think I seen somewhere when he was starting out, he was running speed week. He won like 3 or 4 races in a week with the speed week there when he was starting out.
Yeah, he All-Star Speed Week, which I thought that would have been a really good series for him to run. It was 30 races, and I just think it fit. You kind of make that progression where you run regionally and then you take the step up to high limit. Obviously, it's been a tough year. We'll see what he does next year. And look, nobody thought he was. I don't think anybody thought he was going to win this year. He got to win, and we'll see what he does next year.
Yeah. Well, last thing, good job, Dale Blaney. I was wondering if we're going to start seeing more guys using those severely offset wings now.
I think it's more than the offset wing. I think there are a litany of things with that car that are different. I think Dave Blaney likes to play Dr. Frankenstein with that car, and it works at Sharon. I know, talking to Dale, he'd like to take that car to a couple other tracks and see if it works. And maybe we see that in the future. I don't think everybody can necessarily do what Dave did to that car, and of course drive it like Dale drives it. So we'll see if it translates to other tracks or if they even take it to other tracks.
Yeah. I seen something. He got something weird, like torsion bars are like 4 or 5 inches wider than everybody else. Just a totally weird setup.
Yeah, he does. And coilovers. He has a lot of things going on with that thing. And again, we'll see if it translates. Hopefully, not. The Outlaws don't ban anything just because of whatever. You never know what's going to happen there. Hopefully, I like the innovation, and I wish other teams would do some of that innovation. But again, when you're on the road running, so many races, you don't really have time to screw around with things or try things. And I think that's why more teams don't.
Okay, Jeremy. Enjoy your show, buddy. I'll see you later. Bye.
Yep, I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, Bob on line 3. Bob, how are you? Bob?
Hello?
Yep, Bob, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing fine. Yeah, just calling. I'm sitting out here in Iowa, and I watch a lot of these narc races late at night, and I just don't know how you fix it. They don't get enough cars, so they got to run a bunch of junk with them just to fill the night. And there's 410s out there in California that don't even run with them. So until you get all them guys together, I don't know how you fix it.
I don't know. Look, I think Brad taking it over might be enough to inspire more people to run it. Okay, we're going to have to see what he does with purses. We're going to have to see what he does with the point fund. We're going to, who's going to be part of the new leadership? Who's going to be the series director? I think all of those things will play into, do they get more cars? Do more guys run it? Can they expand it? I do think it was tough for Brad Sweet he wanted to resurrect 410 sprint car racing, which is he got involved at Chico, which that's great, but I don't think it's enough of an impact. So now that he has NARC with Kevin Rudine, and let's not gloss over the fact that Kevin Rudine now owns Trophy Cup, I think there's more impact that can be made by this group. So we'll see what happens with that. I also think it's leverage. I said that today on my 90 at 9. I think this is leverage. They now have high limit and 2 regional series, 2 racetracks. If you're going to make any changes within the industry, you need dancing partners. You can't be alone on an island. And I have to wonder, does this help them on a national level as well? Just having people to go with you if you want to make a change. So we'll see. But I think Brad having it automatically raises the profile a little bit.
Yeah, just those tracks don't look like they seat enough out there to really
Right.
bring in enough money. The purses are so low out there that I don't know. I hope it works out for them. I don't see it.
Well, I mean, I think we're going to wait.
And I think
we're going to have to wait to see who they put in place for all the positions and what they do with the series. I'm going to reserve judgment on it. I'm not going to say either way. I think it's good for the series. I think Jim Allen and Brent Kading took it as far as they could take it. And now we'll see with a new regime what they can do with it.
Yeah, that Jim Allen, I don't know. Sometimes they seem a little sketchy out there on some of their.
Well, they
I hope the best.
Had some questionable calls, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I hope the best for them.
Well,
but other than that, that was about all I wanted. Thanks for taking the call.
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate it. All right. Go Kings. There's always one. Well, if Miami doesn't beat Florida this year, that's bad because Florida's not really good. And it hasn't been for a while. I'm on it's time to bring in somebody other than a Billy Napier type of head coach. Need to make a splash now. We've gone Florida's gone the route of bringing these kind of mid-major guys and because they have good resumes, at mid-majors or, schools that aren't as big. Look, it's got to make a splash now. It's not good. So yes, the Hurricanes should win. I don't know what the spread is though. Not that I would bet it, but go Canes. There's always one. Hot take. Donnie Schatz wins a feature this weekend at Williams Grove. Look at Sugar Bear on the pipe tonight. I mean, I think it'd be an upset. I like the amount of cars he passed last week in that, his first weekend in the car. I think he advanced like 15 spots, something like that total. So they have some feature speed. Got to qualify better. Especially at the Grove. You're not going to be able to make all that headway at the Grove. So it's definitely gotta pass. He's got to qualify better. And yes, I know Miami plays FSU. They already played Florida. I'll be rooting on neither. Roll Tide. Whatever. What is your hot take for Natty O this weekend? Hot take? I wouldn't be surprised if Anthony Macri shows up night 2 and tries it. That's it just otherwise I don't know. I think it's going to be pretty status quo. Debate at dinner tonight with the house guests. Oh, Braden. Rank the importance of the following in order for success: driver, crew chief, car, equipment. It's tough. Look, take the car out of it because you need good equipment. Everybody who wins needs good equipment. So take that out of it. If I'm starting a team, I'm starting with a crew chief. The reason is because the crew chief runs the team. They deal with the booking of the rooms, the personnel, the travel, they deal with all of the details of the team, usually on the road. So I'm going to start with the crew chief and then get my driver. But the driver has to work with the crew chief. Like it's going to be, I'm not going to pick a driver the crew chief doesn't want. I'm not going to pick a driver who doesn't like that particular crew chief. There's got to be a working symmetry there, or it's not going to work. Chemistry is huge in this sport. I think every good team is situational. I'm not diminishing the crew chiefs or the drivers. I've seen some really, really good drivers not work well with some big teams. So I'm picking crew chief, then driver. The car's got to be good no matter what. So I kind of take that out of the equation. Good question, though. The National Open is the final race in the States for Ryan Newton this year. I think he improved big time this summer and is coming to be a yearly thing for him now. I would say it's definitely a yearly thing. I agree with you on the improvement thing. He had Eric Prutzman with him for a while over the summer. I think that helps tremendously. I think Eric Prutzman is one of the best crew chiefs in the business, obviously winning World of Outlaws titles. So yeah, I think having a crew chief like that, I think Ryan Newton could only get better. And yeah, I like what I see. Did you get your lap leaders for Wayne County? I did, Alan. Thank you very much. Eric passed them along to me. So yes, thank you. Appreciate it. And it's all complete now. Now I don't feel incomplete with my all-star stats. Would a Sprint Car World Championship be possible at the end of the season? High limit versus World of Outlaws, separate point system and money. But the points would apply to their series as well. Thoughts? Well, it sounds very convoluted right out of the gate. There's too many points counting here. I was thinking about it this week. I was actually contemplating some kind of 90 at 9 until obvious things happened. And I was thinking about a 90 at 9 about this very topic. I think in some form, I like the idea. But we already kind of have it. What I would like to see is some kind of point system where you're not adding races and base it on big shows where both factions are there. Kings Royal, Knoxville Nationals. You want to do the Williams Grove National Open. I think you designate certain events as part of it, and the two series work around it, and then you have a point system for it. And then maybe you settle it at Charlotte because it's the last race of the year for the World of Outlaws. I don't want to add races. I think we're to the point where we're tapped out on the number of races. I mean, because then you're asking fans to spend more money, and I don't like that. So it's getting more expensive. So I would designate certain events where they'll be at, and it encourages them to be at those events. So that's so yes, somewhat, just maybe a little different than what you said. Hi, Jeremy. Great show again. Thank you very much. Watching from Australia. What is Casey Kane up to now? He's returning to racing or only being a team owner? You may have already covered this. Cheers, mate, Andy. Well, he's crew chiefing right now for Brad. And you know what? I think he's done a good job at it. I don't think he's done a bad job. I think you're going to see Casey run select shows next year. I think he will return to the seat at some point. I don't think he's done. And I think he's going to go back to being a team owner / driver. I don't see him being the full-time crew chief for a season for whoever's in the stable. I just don't see him doing it. I think he wants to get back in the seat. And I think he enjoys the ownership role. So that's kind of what I expect in 2026. Who's your dark horse for the National? Talked about this on the podcast, which I'll release either tomorrow or Thursday. Watch Dason Pursley. I'm not saying they'll win, but make noise. Winning's going to be hard. I mean, Carson Macedo is excellent there. David Gravel's excellent there. I think Lance DeWeese locally is a guy who can make some noise. I think Dason Pursley's been qualifying well. And if he qualifies well, you can be near the front at the Grove and do some damage. I think Brent Marks is a favorite. I think your three favorites are David Gravel, Carson Macedo, and Brent Marks. Only three. I think DeWeese, Pursley, guys you have there. Watch Bill Baylog. Has a lot of laps at the Grove. I like my producers in the background doing this. I saw that. I think Baylog's a guy who can make some noise. So it should be a good show. There's going to be over 50 cars. The weather looks good, which is, that Dr. Midnight will like that. And we don't have to worry about rain. It's going to be cooler on Friday, warm up a little on Saturday. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good. Is it time for Central PA Tracks to create an alliance and form a regional series? Look, I've heard rumors of this going on now. So whether it comes to fruition, I don't know. I think it's okay, but I don't want to see races added. We have 114 races here this year, or 115. So I don't want to see more races. And they got to work in the frame. It's got to be in the framework of their schedules. How you kind of negotiate that, they all got to get in a room. And while they're at it, in fact, I'm not going to stop at a series. I'd like to see a governing body in this area. I'd like to lead the sprint car world, other than Australia, of course, who I think does it right. I'd like to see a governing body in central Pennsylvania where we can be looked at as kind of the trailblazers of this, because I think the sport needs it in general. I think it needs some organization. It's all over the place now. I think we're seeing some things like High Limit purchasing 2 regional series and having some, the track, obviously Chico Scat. I also like the Outlaws. They have ASCS. So, I mean, if I was one of those series, I'd go after Power Eye, or just to bring it under an umbrella. I don't think that's a bad thing. I know people they hear governing body and they think like there's going to be some grassy knoll stuff going on. You know what? It's too fragmented now to grow. I think it's too fragmented to really grow substantially. And I think, so yes, I'm in favor of a series. I'm in favor of, if it's done the right way, and I'm in favor of taking a step further and saying a governing body. What would bring more viewers, NARC or a PA series that's similar to NARC? The problem with NARC is it's so late. And East Coast people are in bed. So if NARC could make it that their shows aren't getting done at 1 a.m, that would help significantly. But I would say a Central PA deal would be more popular simply because of the time. Could this be the beginning of the end for the cartel? Yes. Yes. I'll just go yes. I'm sure that wouldn't upset people. Everyone's getting worked up over the takeover of NARC. I don't see how it has hurt the All-Stars being bought by High Limit. Your thoughts? No, it has not. I thought the All-Stars had a great year. I give a lot of credit to Rich Farmer. I give a lot of credit to the team. I thought it was a good series. Now, I don't want to see it expand. Let's not get crazy and go to 50 races. I thought the number of races worked. I thought what Farmer did with it worked. And I'm good. If I look at the All-Stars now, sure, it didn't have Aaron Reitzel or Corey Eliason or a boot car or, Rudine. I get all that. But I don't think that's what the All-Stars is for at this point. Watch Casey Jedrzak. I like him. Like to see him run, just develop guys. They can get their feet wet with a series. Danny Sams, it gives him a place to go to maybe fine-tune his craft, so to speak. So I think the All-Stars did a good job this year. I think NARC can be the same thing. Thoughts on the news of Shark Racing? I think Kyle Pruitt did a good job with organization there. I thought their consistency was up. I do not know exactly what happened. I don't know if he was going to be there after the year anyway. I'll let it go at that. So, there's how many races are there? Like 13, some races, something like that. Shark Racing will be fine. But yeah, the problem now is, and maybe a good 90 at 9 is crew help's hard to find. It's getting more difficult to fill these spots. It's getting more difficult to get car chiefs, tire guys. Look at how many, and a good indication of that, look how many people KKR went through this year. That is you could argue that's number 1 or number 2 in organization. As far as sprint car history, prestige, as an organization, it's TSR and KKR. They are the gold standard, and they had problems getting crew members this year and keeping them. And you could say there's different reasons. Yeah, I get it, but you're going through young guys. Guys don't want to go on the road anymore. It's a tough deal if you're a crew guy. So I think that's a big problem. I think I'd be very careful about getting rid of people, but we'll see what happens. Enjoy the show, Jeremy. Have you ever thought about hosting a call-in show after the races? Yes, I have thought about it. The problem is I'm at the races. So then I got to drive an hour. Like if I'm at Lincoln, I have to drive an hour and 20 minutes home, and you never know when it's going to get done. And one of the things that I think that works with any show, any 90 at 9, anything you do, it's got to be the same time every week. I think it builds familiarity. I think people know when to go watch it. So I'm a little hesitant to do that. If I could do it right after the races there for, say, 30 minutes, might be something to try. I might have to go to Eric, my producer, to see if we can pull that off. So that is something that is intriguing to me, but there's definitely hurdles you have to get over. Plus, I got to get my interviews. I got to get my stuff right afterward. So I got to figure out how to do it. So if anybody has any suggestions, I'm all ears. We got John on line 5. John, how are you?
Good, Jeremy. I know you're good, so I won't even bother asking you. Good. I'm good.
Good.
Okay, listen, I was reading an update from Tanner Holmes, which I'm a big fan. And he said that his sister has went back east here to help somebody out while he runs the 21 car the rest of the season.
Yep.
And of course, he won't need her over there too much. So, have you heard anything about that?
I heard
who the driver would be if she's.
I heard. Sorry to cut you off there. I heard something tonight about it. Actually, probably 30 minutes before I went on air here. So I have an idea.
Okay.
I have an idea of who it is, but I'm not going to say for sure because obviously I don't know for sure. But I did hear it roughly 30 minutes before I went on air that she is on the East Coast helping somebody, and I'm going to try and figure that out and who it is.
Try and dig into that a little farther, huh?
I'll try.
Well, that makes sense. You know, I had talked to Tanner some time ago, and he said that he had 2 or 3 different crews that actually approached her and offered her a job, which that doesn't surprise me either. She's a hustler. She hustles.
Well, I think the main thing is like I said earlier, the crew members are in short supply.
Yeah.
If she knows what, obviously if she could take a car apart and put it together, she'd be a good car chief. If, and guys need that right now. I know a team, on the East Coast that needs one. So I think I know who it is, but I don't want to say without knowing for sure. But yeah, I mean, look, if she could get experience on it, go on the road, who knows what it could develop into.
Right. Especially with somebody else other than her brother.
Correct. Get experience other places. And I don't know. We'll see how she's young. She seems like she is energized to do this. Yes. And that's Jamie said it was Macri's team. And I do know Macri was looking for a car chief. And yes, that's who I speculated it was. But again, I didn't want to say before I knew for sure, but I did hear Macri. Was the team that she's helping out.
Yeah, well, that would be a great opportunity for her.
Fantastic opportunity.
Well, I guess she has accepted it. Yeah. All right, Jeremy, I'll let you go. A lot of people waiting, I'm sure.
Well, John, I appreciate you calling. Thank you.
All right. Let us know when you hear anything.
Will do.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. What else do we got here? Oh, we hit a glitch. What are we doing here? Oh, Jim from Buffalo. Jim, how are you?
I'm doing good, Jeremy. Doing good.
What do you know?
I gotta ask you. You know Brian Carter probably better than a lot of people. What's wrong with him? Doesn't he see that the control of the 410 racing is kind of being taken away from him, and he's going to get to the point where he's not going to have any power to make changes as far as little things like safety changes and stuff like that? I mean, what's wrong with him?
I don't think that. Look, Brian Carter is very methodical. He doesn't do things knee jerk. He doesn't get wrapped up in what I would call noise, meaning what's going on. And we could say, well, that's too conservative, but it's just his nature. He's remember before, and I this was on our deep dive, he was a bean counter. Like before he took over the Outlaws, he was a bean counter. He should be in the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame. He basically saved the world of Outlaws. And I'm comfortable saying that. And he's built it into what it is today. So a lot of credit to Brian Carter for that. Would I have gone after Power I instead of ASCS? Yes. But that's because it's a 410 deal, and I think it's grown some legs. I don't think he's going to lose control from a Sprint Car Council safety deal. I don't think that's the case. I don't think he loses control. And I don't even think it's a control thing. He's still the world of Outlaws. And I think when the Sprint Car Council or the Safety Council or whatever you want to call it, I think when they come down to making decisions, I think his vote means as much as Brad's, means as much as whoever's representing Central Pennsylvania. I don't think because Brad has NARC and All-Stars that it makes his say any more than Carter's. So I just think it's from the standpoint of I think the move by NARC, or the move by High Limit and Brad and Rudine, we don't want to leave them out, to get NARC, I think is more about what they do for the High Limit series and their regional series. I don't think it's necessarily something against the Outlaws.
All right, I can see that. And yes, I agree totally. He is the guy that saved the Outlaws because they were in a big mess there before World Racing Group took over. I forgot who the heck the name of that group was that had them just about random. Yes, Boundless Motorsports.
It's terrible.
But now with that in mind, you see him possibly trying to go after another series, a 410 series, maybe like you mentioned, Fast or IRA. Or something like that. I mean, is there any rumblings or anything like that?
I've heard nothing as of now, but I will also say that it's very hard sometimes to get information about the inner workings of the world of Outlaws. It's not as hard as Roth. Roth is the hardest one to get information about. KKR can sometimes be difficult to get. They keep a lot of things in house, but that's starting to be better or easier. The world of Outlaws can be difficult. Now, do I know some things about that? I'm not, that they're doing. I'm not going to get into, but I have not heard anything about them going after or purchasing a series. I'm sure they will be on the lookout if something presents itself. I believe Power Eyes that Kenny Brown. And then, you have IRA with Sinclair, and then you have the new Gladiator series in Ohio, and you have Fast if they're still around. So I just don't think there's a lot out there right now, but that doesn't mean they're not looking.
I see. Yeah. Brian's kind of like the Lou Lamorello of sprint car racing. You couldn't get anything out of Lou in the NHL. I mean, he would just keep it close to the vest all the time.
Well, sure.
But secondly, go ahead.
What's up?
But secondly, so does Darren Pittman finally get the monkey off his back this weekend?
Look,
God, I hope so. I mean, that he's been so damn close.
The last time he finished second, and I don't root for guys, despite what some people think. I root for the best story, or sometimes I'll root for the best story, or, just from a content standpoint. But man, it's hard not to root for Darren Pittman at the National Open. Last time he finished second, I did an interview with him. I felt even bad interviewing him. And I told him, I said, and he says, it's okay. But it's hard to watch him run second. And it would be a huge feel-good story if he was able to break through and win the National Open. So I got to say, I'm pulling for him. I mean, come on.
I mean, so I totally agree. They'd probably burn the place down. That would be totally awesome. About the only other, I think Lance would be super popular, winning it again and stuff. But, and the third thing is, we got this forum here and everything like that. They used to have a show on Sirius XM that would actually talk about sprint car racing and short track racing. I don't know how to do it or whatever, but man, we got to get somebody like you on there for 2-3 hour show each week. I mean, there's no coverage whatsoever, but they do branch out. They sponsor, an IndyCar team and stuff. So I don't know, but I got to ask you about the 40-40 sister kisser over the weekend, huh?
I'm not a big tie game guy. Give me an outcome.
I know that was kind of ridiculous.
Give me an outcome.
I mean,
damn
it's
it.
like I know. Play it till you win.
Yep.
But anyways, all right. Have a good weekend at the National. Hopefully the weather holds out and everything like that. And Sunday night you can watch the Bills. Go Bills.
Hey, I have Josh Allen on my fantasy team, so I have a vested interest in the Bills now. So, all right, moving on. Thank you, Jim, for being on. What are your thoughts on KCP and Axum splitting with Eliason finishing the year for them? I was a little surprised by the move, but I'm okay. I mean, I don't have a lot of thoughts on it because they're interim drivers. So whoever finishes the season, that's not who's going to be in it next year. And, Axum was able to dip his toe in the World of Outlaws pool. He's got to go back to the 27. I actually texted with him last night, and he said he just looking for crew help. I assume it's crew help, and he doesn't know when his next race will be. So will we see him this weekend? I don't know about that, but again, it's when you're an interim driver. I think they just weren't going well, and they just split. I don't think it was one way or the other. I think they just weren't going well. So it wasn't working. So they brought in Eliason. Jim on line 7. Jim.
Yeah, Jeremy.
Yes.
One of my pet peeves with sprint cars, and I wanted your opinion on this 2 minute in the work area. I think they should be allowed to change a tire, and that's it. No more 2 minutes in the work area.
Well,
what's your opinion?
I hate the work area. I can't stand the work area. And I'm with you. I think for the first half of the race, you should be able to change a tire, and that's it. Not build a car, not put an axle in. It just drags the show down. Anybody who thinks it doesn't drag the show down, just pull out a stopwatch. And now, is it every race? No, it's not every race, but it's enough. And I am not a work area guy. And I've never heard one fan go, boy, I hope we see a lot of work area activity tonight. So no, I'm not. Yeah, we can get rid of it for all I care.
Hey, I appreciate it. And yes, sir, I appreciate it. I enjoy your show. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. Why don't you want to live out of a semi-trailer and eat gas station food daily and work on a race car for $30,000 a year? Yeah, that's right. I'm not doing that. And I don't think anybody else wants. I just think people aren't gearheads anymore either. I think that's a big part of it. I think growing up, if you were a gearhead and it was cool and whatever it is, we don't have that anymore. And I think that's taken a bite out of it as well, along with everything else. Within the next 10 years, Brad Sweet will be running sprint car racing. I don't know. It's easy to say that. I don't think the World of Outlaws are going away. So maybe not. I don't think so, though. I'm not going to go that far. Dr. Midnight for Narcs director. I agree. Had it blasted Pat Valley? Any sense whether it was a financial success and will we see high limit return in 2026? I know the crowd wasn't as big as Speed Week. And I know the show cost more. So there's some concern with that. I don't know. We'll know when the schedule comes out. If Path Valley's not on it, you know they didn't make money. What was your opinion of the Path Valley race last night? I could have done without all the cautions. I don't like all the provisionals because, again, it's too many cars on that track. I'm not a provisionals guy to begin with. So once it got going, it was good, which I expected. Tanner Thorson came from fifth. There was pass for the lead. There was jockeying around. There was action. Got done at a decent hour. Like I said, just a lot of cautions at the beginning. Took a while to widen up a little bit, but once it did, it widened up in a hurry, and you can move around. So I was okay with that. And, again, we'll see it. We'll see if they come back. Florida's on the phone with Urban Meyer. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want to leave his family. I heard that excuse before he went to Ohio State. It's okay. I'm out on Urban Meyer now. We had a warden. The warden was in there. Now he's not. So we can, there's other coaches out there. It's not like crew members in sprint car racing. There's a lot of coaches. West Coast scheduling will be better. Flow will help promotion along with Rudine's people. Yeah, I don't see a downside. I'm sure Flow will be entrenched. Kevin Rudine, a lot of resources. I also think Kevin Rudine having Skagit. I don't think we'll see that Louis Vermeil at Calistoga for NARC the same weekend. I think, I agree with every one of your statements. Skagit local scene has grown, and so will NARC. Yeah, I really like what's going on in the Northwest. I like the young talent. Joseph Terrell covers it for SprintCarUnlimited.com. And Schlottfeld, Klatt, Hillier. Of course, you have Trey Starks up there. You have a good mix of younger and older guys like, again, Stark Solwald. Robbie Price is up there. So I think it's a good mix. I think it's getting better. Could make the argument that they have more young talent than California right now, which I never thought I'd say that. Is Andrew Bowman not with KKR anymore? As far as I know, as of this past weekend, he was with KKR. .360s will now finally be gone in California. No, I don't think they're going anywhere. No. Because you still got to have a bunch of teams switch over to 410s, and I don't know if that's going to happen. Here's the other thing. Here's what I'd like to see California get rid of. Letting 360s run with 410s and giving them a bonus. If you're trying to go to 410s, what's the incentive for a 360 guy to go run 410s when they give 360 bonuses? Stop giving bonuses to the 360 guys. They're not going to move up if you keep doing that. So I don't think 360 racing's going, I just don't think so. Can you input the results of the Outlaws and High Limit into a generic points calculator and formulate a national points standing? Okay, what point system do you want me to use? I mean, come up with mine. If it were me, I would use probably something similar to Silver Springs, where the winner got 25 more points than second place, and then it drops by 5 after that. And I think no matter what point system you use, David Gravel would be the champion. Doesn't matter. Brad will be attending the NARC banquet on November 2nd. Maybe more information after that. I'm sure. I think he'll probably be involved, in one form or another the rest of the year. But until they get everything in place. So It'll be interesting. I'm anxious to see what he does. Now that Day and Sanders are sharing a ride, I ask you again, do you think this is a test to see if they run high limit together next year? No. Don't expect Justin Sanders to be on a national tour. I don't expect that at all. Talked to him this week. I just don't think the travel appeals to him, meaning the actual going to the airport. And I can tell you, it doesn't appeal to me, and I don't travel every weekend. He's buying a house. I just think that the national tour isn't for him. He does well in California from even during the week with what he does for a living, and I just don't think there's any reason to do it. And the 14 is selling their charter or their franchise. So there's no reason to do that. You care to send your stats? I'll tell you what, email me at sprintcarunlimited@gmail.com and I will send it over. I'll send over what I have. The sport needs something after Knoxville. The season feels over after the Nationals. Not going to disagree. The Tuscaloosa. You know what, though? You have the Tuscarora 50. You have the Gold Cup. You have the Skagit Nationals. You have the Williams Grove National Open. You still have big events that draw huge crowds. And also, World Finals, they make a killing on that thing. So I don't buy into that also because I think we get a lot of quote unquote silly season moves between the Nationals and World Finals. So I don't think we have something like the Nationals, but I do think we have a smattering of events that are big, that draw a lot of attention. And I also think we have off the track news that also draws a lot of attention. So I don't think we need another race. Again, these guys race so much, it's expensive. I just don't think putting another race on is the right way to go. And where are you going to put it? There's no open weekends. That's the other problem. And where do you have it? A lot of tracks shut down once you get to September. It just doesn't. I don't know. Sprint car season is over at Knoxville. It's just a fact. No, it's not a fact because looking at the crowds, I would say that that's not true. Fans, the viewership's not down. So the viewership's not down and the big events still get a lot of fans. And I can tell you this week, the National Open, it's going to be jammed. So no, I disagree with that. How can we trick ESS guys into switching to 410 engines coming from desperate New Yorker? You're not going to do that. And you can't really use the 410 motors up there anyway, because it's so dry slick. Between Ohio and New York, man, I think New York's slicker than Ohio. So I just don't see that happening. And I don't know if there's enough cars to get you'd have to have everybody flip. And I don't think you're going to get everybody in a pit area to do anything. Hot take for National Open. Wonder Boy Ryan Timms doesn't make the A main one or both nights this weekend. How about that? I talked to Shane Liebig a little bit at Path Valley. Williams Grove's different. So it's going to be very interesting to see how well they do this week. They had a similar run in the nights before the Tuscarora 50. So not qualify. Whew, that's tough. I like it. I like the hot take, though. I like the hot take. I'm not saying I agree with it. Just like the hot take. Are you hearing any rumblings on the Vermeer Madsen team for 2026? Yes, I don't Yeah, I'm comfortable saying that. Yes, I've heard rumblings of that occurring. Who's winning the National Open? I took David Gravel. I mean, hasn't won it for a while. I'll take David Gravel. Can we expect a Rudine 26 car racing in NARC next season? Possibly Levi Hillier. Interesting. I don't know. That's interesting. I didn't even think about that yet. That's a good look at Corey Neeshaw bringing it. That's an interesting. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. I haven't thought about that, but yeah, that could happen. Hot take: another track needs to run Sunday night weekly on Flow or Dirt Vision because Huset's is below average at best. I mean, they're going to get new clay in there, so let's see how that goes. And again, you don't want to. Sunday nights are tough. Not everybody can do it. It's not like it hasn't been done before. So I don't know. I wouldn't move nights just because you don't like Huset's. And again, they have get new dirt in, so we'll see what happens. Don't you think Fast and the All-Stars could merge for the better of both series? It worked this year. I don't know what's going to happen with Fast. I know he started that Gladiator series. I don't really understand going with the Gladiator series and having Fast and the All-Stars. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but it's going to have to be on Farmer's dime. It's going to have to, it's going to have to come from there. And I don't know if the Fast guys want to do that. So I wouldn't be opposed to it though. Tom online. What's that? Eight? Tom, how you doing?
All right. Am I on live now?
You are on live now.
Okay. Did you see Danny Dietrich's post on one of his things about he was complaining about the tires, about the tracks, how hard the tracks were. Did you see his post?
Is that the one where he talked about track conditions as well?
Right.
Yeah, I saw it.
All right. Now these tires, I've been going to the races since 1964. I'm 74 years old.
Okay.
I mean, I saw Ralph Smith race and guys like Marlon Pottinger.
Yep.
And those guys never got flat tires back then. These tires that are putting on these cars hardly have any sidewall. I mean, it's like paper. And they keep getting flat tires. And me as a fan, I get tired of this. Towing a car into the pits and changing the tires all the time. I think they ought to make better tires. That these tires they're not getting flat tires all the time. It's just ridiculous. I mean, it's just car after car after car some nights. I mean, they run 50 laps. They run 50 laps getting flat, and they're getting it all night long. I mean, why can't they make a better tire?
I mean, look, that's a question for Hoosier. I have heard rumblings that there's been some tire tests going on, that there could be something new. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. I'm surprised we don't get more flats, to be honest. We don't get a ton of them in PA, and I don't know why it is. I don't know if it's a combination with the track surface, the tire construction. I mean, I don't know because I've gone 3 weeks without seeing a flat tire. And then there's other times you see a bunch in one night. I do think there's a randomness to it. I do believe as well that depending what the surface is like, is it rough? Is there rocks in it? Does it grind tires? I mean, different surfaces do different things. So I'm not going to blame it on one thing. And of course, you have stuff. I mean, stuff gets stuck on the track, whether it be metal, whatever it is. So I think there's a lot of mitigating factors. I do not know what the answer is. I do not construct tires. I have heard of secret tire tests being done and they're looking at some different things. I don't know if that's, it's going to come to fruition and we have a new tire or not.
Well, I go out on these tracks after the races, and they all have rocks in them.
Right.
I haven't been out to one track that didn't have rocks in it. So when you have a tire that is paper thin, I mean, the sides is hardly anything to them, and the bottom isn't much better. It's not going to take much to put a hole in one of those tires. It just isn't.
Yeah,
and they never had that trouble back when I went to the races years ago.
Well, I do
and
think
it got worse. I mean, this was a thing that got worse as the tires got thinner.
Yeah, no, look, I get it, and I think they're also faster now. I think there's more downforce than there used to be. I hate to say back in your day, but I think the climate has changed. I think the track surfaces have changed. And yes, every track has rocks in it, but not every surface is hard on tires. There's some tracks where the tire wear is great and there's no problem. So I think it really is a combination of different things. Now, again, can they fix it with the construction of the tire? I'm sure they can. I'm not sure that will happen.
I know they don't like to go slower. They like to keep going faster, but
yep.
Obviously it's going to make them go a little bit slower, but that actually may make the racing a little bit better too.
Look,
if they go a little slower.
Absolutely. If Williams Grove is in 16, 17 seconds, we're not going to see a good race. If it gets to 18, we'll see a good race. So
I have a radar gun. This was like 5 years ago. I had cars going down the back straightaway at Williams Grove about 140 miles an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, they go fast.
That's fast.
It is pretty fast.
140. And that's pretty fast for a half-mile track.
Yeah, no, that's moving.
I don't think they need to go that fast to have a good race.
Agreed.
I've seen better races up at Greenwood Valley than I've seen at Williams Grove. The micro sprints.
Well, I've seen, look, every track has bad races at some point. Every track has good races at some point. Some just more than others.
Well, go to a speed week show at Greenwood Valley sometime and they have 90 micros if you want to see a good show.
Yeah, no, I've heard it's good up there. I mean, I go to enough races, so as it is. But yeah, no, I've heard Greenwood's good.
Yeah, I guess they would have USAC up there, but they don't have the safety. They don't have the safety fences, so they won't race there. But it'd be a good place to have one.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. Don't disagree.
All right, that's all I had.
All right, Tom, thank you for calling. Appreciate it. All right, Scott on line 9. Scott, how are you?
Good, Jeremy. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay. Hanging in there.
Good. I'm surprised you didn't say something to Tom about the drivers they don't care about the cost of a $400 tire, you know?
They're getting expensive.
Yeah, no doubt.
Getting expensive.
Anyway,
So-
I like the fact that you said Macri might show up, and I kind of felt like he would.
Well,
And
when let me
Carly's come help.
look again.
Okay.
I'm not sure he's going to. I just wouldn't be surprised if he shows up Saturday night. That's all.
Okay. Yeah, that's better than a 50-50 chance, I think. Second thought, was Dason Pursley a possible winner? That would be great. That would be a good parting present for him and Tom Book. Yeah, I knew things.
Yeah, I don't doubt you do.
Yeah.
No, he's come a long way.
I wonder
Look,
when they're going to make that announcement.
I like Dason personally. I think what I like about him the most is nothing bothers him. I think people forget he was hurt in that midget at the end of 2021. Look, the prognosis wasn't great at all. And he walked into Chili Bowl 2 months later. I think that shows a measure of determination. I think I think it shows kind of his makeup a little bit. And, looking at athletes and seeing as many athletes that I have over the years, that's not always it's rare sometimes. So I like Dason. I think he's going to be successful at whatever he does. I think he's going to become a really good wing sprint car driver.
Yeah, he's really come on here lately in the second half.
Yes.
No doubt. I saw him get hurt that night. I felt so bad for him. He'd been doing so good in midget ranks, and then he got hurt. And like I say, come in 2 months later, that was great.
Yeah, looks good. He's done a good job.
He's a very well-spoken young man. He doesn't get excited, like you say, and he's going to make somebody a good deal coming up.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, might see you walking around the Grove this weekend. Hope the weather's good.
Yep, I will be there.
All right, take care.
Thanks, Scott. All right. We have Steve on line 10. Steve, how are you?
I'm very good. I'm thinking about going down to the National Open this weekend. It's a nice 6-hour ride.
Oof.
But what I'd like to, I have some thoughts. The racing, everybody complains if they don't start in the top 4, 5, or 6 positions, they don't have an opportunity to win. I would like to see them change the wings, go to a 4x4 wing with no wicker bill. I would like to see, what I think would help a real lot is if they narrowed the left rear tire up to 12, maybe 13-inch max, because that seems to have gotten, the left rear tire's gotten wider and wider. And I think if those two little items, I think they could really do a huge change to the racing. I think it would bring guys more competitive.
I don't even think you need to go to 4x4. I'd like to see him go back to the dish wing. I think that would be good. Then you don't have to make.
I would agree with that.
You don't have to make as many changes. So I'm okay going to the dish wing. I've talked to Lance DeWeese about the narrowing of tires, possibly the right rear, left rear as well. It's something he would like to see, that they've just gotten wider and wider. Excuse me. So I don't disagree with you there. I just would like to see the dish wing.
The left rear tire it looks to be almost 15 inches wide now. When I was selling race tires, I used to have a race car shop. When I was selling race tires, left rear tires were about 12.5 inches wide. And they've just gotten so wide now, the cars they're so hooked up,
right,
that it's very difficult if you're, in the front and you're a decent running car. It's hard for somebody to beat you. So,
Don't disagree. I think dirty air comes into play. Again, I think there's a lot of factors, and I think if you could clean up some of that dirty air, I don't think the racing's terrible. I know people want to say it's terrible.
I don't think it is either. I don't think it's terrible either. I think it could be better.
Sure,
but I don't think it's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, look at what we saw. Look at what we saw out at Thunderbolt last week. Look at what we saw at Sheridan this week. It was pretty good. Millstream was decent. The Grove the last 2 weeks has been good. Again, I just don't think it's doom and gloom and the racing's pitiful. Eldor's usually has been good. So, I think you're going to have bad nights and I think you're going to have good nights. Now, look, again, do I think it could be better? Sure. Should we be striving to make it better? Sure. I'm not going to deny that. But I'm not going to go doom and gloom that it's pitiful. And I know sometimes it sounds like that if you listen to teams.
No, I don't feel it's pitiful. I just think that a couple of changes would put it back into the mechanics' hands.
Sure.
On how fast the cars are.
Don't
it's right now everybody can buy everything. It's out of their hands, and you don't need a bunch of ingenuity. Buy it, bolt it on, and go.
Yep.
So
don't disagree with you.
That's my thought.
All right.
All right, Jeremy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Steve. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.
Yep. Bye.
All right. What else do we got? Might be able to get out a little earlier tonight. Ken on line 11. Ken, how are you?
Pretty good this week, Jeremy. Well, I was just listening there. I heard it sounds like it's a pretty much done deal that Persley's going elsewhere. I just hope that doesn't mean we're going to lose another car. I know Tom personally, and last year he was up and down on whether he was going to come back, and when he got Persley, he decided to come back. I know he has a charter and everything, but I hope he doesn't decide to leave.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not going to say too much about what's going on, but yeah, I mean, you never want to lose a car, and especially one that's been around that long and has had the list of drivers they have. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens and see if Persley does go elsewhere, if Book, if he's going to stay around.
The other thing with this silly season, some of these drivers, before they do make changes, sometimes you better take a look at where they're at and are they really going to be better where they go? I know the 18 has gone through a number of drivers ever since Mazden and Gio and now Emerson Axum, and it's never really been a top car. It's always been a decent car, but never really a top car.
I think, yeah, I mean, look, I've said this many times, and I know it sounds redundant. It's very situational. And look, and I give this example a lot. Greg Hodnett was a great driver, Hall of Fame driver. He was with Al Hamilton, all the resources, crew chief, everything, and it didn't work. It sometimes doesn't happen. And it doesn't matter how good the driver is. It doesn't matter how good the crew chief is and how much money there is. It just doesn't work. So again, Zeb Wise, I don't think Zeb Wise is a bad driver, but he got let go from the 26. So it worked for a little and then didn't work. Their results were horrible last year. Does that mean that Zeb Wise is terrible? No, I don't think so. I mean, the year before he won double-digit races, the All-Star title, beat the Outlaws in the same car. Again, I think things are very situational. That doesn't mean there's not better drivers than other drivers. That's not what I'm saying. I don't think everybody's David Gravel. I don't think everybody's Buddy Kofoid or Rico or Brad or Donnie. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you got to be in a good situation. And you can't, I hate to use this, you can't have nonsense in your situation where you have a bunch of stuff going on that's counterproductive. So you got to have the right parts, what the driver likes, what the crew chief likes. So when these guys leave teams, I mean, I think sometimes it's for money, which you can't blame them because there's no guaranteed deals in racing. I think sometimes they leave for what they feel is going to be a better situation. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It really is a moving target. So I'm not going to disagree with you, but it really is situational in my mind. I've seen it a lot in the last 40 years.
The only other thing I had on my mind this week, with the National Open coming up at Williams Grove this weekend, it's a major thing for us here in the East. Yeah. But for the rest of the country, it doesn't seem like it's quite as big a deal as what it used to be. I mean, you don't get any of the guys coming in from Ohio or other parts of the country like they used to. I mean, when Blaney and Brad Doty and the gang used to come in here, they never would miss the National Open. But now you're not even going to have the full high limit crew. You're just going to have 3 or 4 of them, the way it sounds. And it just seems like it's more or less just another World of Outlaw show. If they would tweak the program or something, I think it would be more of a big deal to me.
I think things have changed from the standpoint of I don't think the Ohio drivers are as good as they used to be. And they struggle at the Grove. Cap Henry has won 17 times this year. He struggles at Williams Grove. I think he would admit that. Doty, the Blaneys, you're talking about Hall of Fame guys there. I think that's part of it. I think the Outlaws are so good. The Grove is a tricky place. And I do think there's a stigma against it with some of the lack of passing at times. Guys just don't want to run there. And are you going to really beat David Gravel there? Are you going to beat Danny Dietrich there? Are you going to beat Anthony Macri there or the Kreitz car, Macedo? Again, I think the times are different. And I think Ohio right now, and I would agree with you, yeah, they used to come in and they wouldn't miss it. But the difference is now you don't have those hitters. I like I think Cap Henry had a spectacular year, but he is not good at Williams Grove. And as far as high limit guys, there's some guys who weren't on that pre-entry list who are going to race. Justin Peck is going to race. I saw his rig in Harrisburg today. I think Cy Lynch could race. Aaron Reitzel's going out to Lee County. I'm surprised he's racing at all with his foot. Brad Sweet, I just don't think he wants to run Williams Grove and has no reason to. He has a lot of irons in the fire, and I don't know if he wants to support an outlaw show if he doesn't have to. You're going to have most of the other guys there. I don't know what Rico's doing, and Rico has a lot of commitments. So, again, I just think it's a sign of the times. I think it could change in 2 years or not change. Do I think they should have a B main or pay a little better down through the order? Yes, that I agree with. I don't think it should be put on top.
Okay. All right. I appreciate taking the call, Jeremy, and let's hope we do get the beautiful weather they're calling for and have a good race.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And yes, Rico is not racing the National Open. I know last I talked to him, he was on the fence, but it seemed like he wasn't. So Corey Neshaw would know. He puts a pool together. Check it out, by the way. You can contact him. He runs one of the best pools I've ever played. So he does a good job. How many years do you think ASCS National Tour will last? That's hard to say. Look, the Outlaws have it now, so there's more resources involved in it. So I think it could last. It could last as long as they want it to. Question: why would Macri need help with them not racing for a little while? I think he needed a car chief. So, and even if he doesn't race this weekend, he's going to be back soon. What's Kevin Rudin's background? He's involved in a lot of different things. Hagar Realty he has a business partner, Hagar. I'm not 100% sure. He has apartment complexes. He has a lot of different businesses. He's been very, very, very successful. Very successful. Not going to get into the worth, but I'd say he's one of the more well-off guys in all of sprint car racing. But he deals with a lot of different businesses up in Washington. I think it's buildings and yeah, he's involved with that Hagar Realty. I think that Hagar's his business partner. And I did a deep dive on him, and he talked about it a little bit. If you're at the top of if you're a top sprint car driver, how do you pass on the National Open? Because there's so much money available now that you can pass on the National Open. Think about it. High Limit just ran they ran the Nationals, then they ran for 100,000, 126,000, 58,000, 30,000, 75,000. I mean, there's so many big races now that you don't have to run every big race. So I think that's just the situation we're in now. And isn't Texas 50? I'm not 100% sure. It was last year. So there's just so many big races now that they almost, in some regards, look, Williams Grove's still going to have over 50 cars. They're still going to have jam-packed stands. It's still going to be a great event. It's going to be missing Rico, Brad, Aaron Reitzel. Brian Brown's hurt, or he'd be there. You're going to be missing maybe Macri, obviously injury, but you're missing three guys. Essentially, three guys who I'm there to see them. So the National Open's fine. There was a situation at Path Valley Sunday night. Early, I saw only four cars finished the heat race. Number 3 and awarded 5th transfer spot to Brock Zierfoss because of where he lined up. Yes, that's their rule. To me, in that scenario, I thought Ryan Smith should get the spot because he timed better. He was the higher, quote unquote, seeded driver. I was not necessarily in favor of that. Yeah, I get he started there, but wouldn't you go by the highest time trialer? Which normally would be the first place, which would be the first place guy, which is Zierfoss. But Ryan Smith was involved in the crash. Now, again, it's their rules. So what are you going to do? No more provisionals. Amen, brother. Good. I don't like provisionals either. There's not going to be a 5th quarter in the Super Bowl for somebody who didn't perform well. When will schedules come out, do you think? I know tracks are working on them around here. I expect them to come around. I expect them to come out November, December. I expect the Outlaws to come out at PRI at the latest. I expect High Limit, same thing. I'll have a schedule from the World of Outlaws probably in November sometime because I'll get it somewhere, but because they give it to teams and whatnot. But yeah, I think between now and December, you'll see them. Ron on line 13. Ron, what do you got?
Hey, Jeremy, it's Ron Helmick.
Hey, Ron, how are you?
Watching your live. Good. How are you?
Hanging in there.
I was just watching your live show, and I saw the Corey guy comment about the Brock Zierfoss deal at Path Guy with High Limit, and how he kind of got into the A main by being on the pole. It went back to how they were lined up, and I just think that when it comes to that rule, if it was me personally, I would like to see the 4 guys that finished at the top of the heat race make the A, but then take that 5th transfer, so to say, out of the equation and give an extra guy a shot out of the B main. That way everybody would get a fair chance to make the A.
I'm good with
I don't
that.
know what your thoughts are.
No, I'm good with that. I've seen that done throughout the years in other, whether it be a track or whatever. So no, Ron, I'm good with that as well. I mean, whatever they want to do with that, I think it should be the highest qualifier in the heat, or yes, take it out of the semi.
Yeah, like they said, Ryan Smith being the fastest time trialer and then having to start 4th and kind of got penalized for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember. I think he still made the A main through the B main, I believe.
Wasn't he done that night? I'm not
sure if he. I know he got crashed, but I thought I saw him out there for the B main.
I'm not 100% sure.
Anyway.
But I'll tell you what, I'm pulling it up now, and yes, he qualified for the A main. He finished 2nd in the B main. Or no, he finished 2nd in the B main.
Okay. Yeah, I thought he started maybe 1st or 2nd in the B. I think it might have been 2nd.
Yep. Brent Marks.
If he made the A main or not.
Yeah. Nope. He made it.
Yeah, I mean, so luckily he still got in, but then at the same token, Brock never started the A main, so it's like, well, we still had a car that got awarded an A main spot, but then never started the A main anyway.
Sure.
Where if that was the case, if they would have taken an extra car out of the B main, somebody else could have got that $1,200 to start the A. Or do a first alternate or something different. I just thought it wasn't the right way the rules are written, I guess.
Yeah, no, I
think it could be more fair for somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, JJ Loss would have made it if they would have taken a 5th guy out of the B main. I agree with you. I'm not a big fan of how that was handled. I mean, it's in their rules. They didn't do anything wrong. I just would like to see a different way of determining that.
Yeah. Yep. I agree with you completely there. Like I said, it was their rule book. So
yeah, at least they went by their rules.
Yeah. They didn't make something up on the fly.
Yes.
They didn't change it for a certain driver situation.
Correct.
So that was good to see. Some consistency there and some stick to the rule book kind of deal.
No, I agree.
Yeah, that was pretty much all that I thought would be a different idea or a different approach to it, and wanted to get your thoughts on it. So
sounds good, Ron.
All righty.
All right, you take care.
Have a good rest of your show.
Yep, thank you.
You too.
All right. Where will schedules come out? We answered that one already. I think anytime between November and the end of December. Blake Anderson back on the mic. Yeah, I mean, does a good job. Wow, Jeremy, no mention of Danny Dietrich fighting for the posse at the National Open. Well, I mean, he's not timing well right now. That's my concern. So, I mean, it's not that Danny can't win. He's won a National Open already. So it's just, you asked me who my favorites were. I gave you my favorites. I wouldn't put Danny in as a favorite. So, I mean, I am sure he's going to fight both nights, but I just don't think he's a favorite. He's got to time well. Has anyone done anything? I can't read. Has anyone done anything analysis of how High Limit and Woo has affected the small local and regional teams making more money? Well, that's again, I don't think it's necessary. Here's one. It's kind of two things can be true at once. Okay, let me. Two things can be true at once. Okay, if the Weicker Memorial was unsanctioned, would a smaller team do better? Yes. If the Williams Grove National Open wasn't sanctioned, could a smaller team do well or do better? Yes. Here's what's happened, though, with High Limit. Bringing High Limit in has raised purses everywhere. Whether it's locally, I mean, Knoxville raised their purses because they want to keep their guys at home and not running these national series races. So there, it benefited the locals. Same in here. Danny Dietrich, albeit not a small team, he won the Weichert last year. Not this year, last year. That's $75,000. It was the biggest payday of his life. So it's a catch-22. Yes, in some ways, if these events weren't sanctioned, but they're going to be sanctioned because that draws more people and they want their stands filled for those events. They're big events for flow, so on and so forth. I do think, though, and have seen the purses rise, obviously in central Pennsylvania, for the locals because they feel they got to keep up. The tracks feel they got to keep up. So in one regard, they might lose a little, but then they pick up a little. So, and when the national series come in, the locals have they have the same chances or opportunities to win more money. So they're collecting a bigger payday. Now, again, you could make the argument that they'd be higher in the order if the national touring guys weren't here, but then it wouldn't pay as much either. So I think there's a lot of give and take, and I think it's two things can be true at once. Do you think Trey Starks runs NARC next year? No, I do not. Family business. Justin Sanders underperformed in the JMR 14, right on par with everyone else, the car other than Day. Here's what you can't have. And again, as I said, every situation is different. So to say Justin Sanders, is it Justin Sanders' fault? I mean, he looked pretty good in the 87. Again, different situation, different cars, different, just different personalities. Everything's different. And Justin Sanders when he ran the Macri car, he did a decent job. Look at his stats. They're not bad. He didn't get a win, but he was also running national events. He was running against stiff competition all the time. And it's not like he travels a lot. So I thought he did well in the Macri car. I thought he did well in the 87. The 14 hasn't gone as well. And really, Corey Day's the only person who shined in that car. And I have to think that it's situational. That whatever that car has or Corey Day, it's set up. The program itself is set up for Corey Day. So I'm not going to hang that on Sanders if he doesn't perform in the 14. I just watched him perform in the 87. I know he can drive. I don't need to see it in the 14. Oh, went blank. Dark horse pick for night one of the Open. Night one. Now I gotta pick it for night one. I can't even spread it to night two. Deweese. It's going to be chillier. So I don't know how much track's going to widen out, but I'd say Deweese, Persley, those are the two that I'm watching this weekend closely. Is Corey Day racing the National Open? No, he is not. I think he will be down at the Roval. He got he has a NASCAR commitment that came up. Any new teams drivers for the 410 ranks next year in PA? Not that I know of right now. Things happen a little later in PA. They're still on that old schedule of when things are going to happen. So I'm not 100%. I don't know of any. I think we're going to have some movement. We're losing a couple teams. That's a problem. We're losing a couple teams. So we need to pick up some. Dr. Midnight is busy. Oh, it's never good when Dr. Midnight's busy. All right. What else we got? Honestly, the best sprint car group in my eyes is CRSA, and they run 305s, full field, good racing. Yep. I mean, I can't watch 305s, but I mean, I do. I watch them when I see them in Central PA just to keep my eye on them. I mean, look, everybody likes different things. Aside from yourself, any favorite racing podcasts you like? I listen to Fiedler every day, the daily. I kind of listen to, outside of that, I'm usually busy doing something for the platform, whether it be the website or for YouTube. Sometimes I've heard them all at one time or another. I usually go topic related. I'll look at the thumbnail and who's going to be, and then I'll check it out. So a lot of different guys. I'd say all the people we know. I've heard them. I've heard Chaz. I've heard Wing Nation, and I've heard the other people as well. It really depends if I have time or again, it's quick. Fiedler's quick. So it's easy for me to do that just each day. Penn National did Sundays. It was the best. Actually, this is the first racetrack I ever went to, and they ran modifieds. They had sprint cars as well. I have a picture of the Hardys, the Lloyd car, Hardys, Smokey Snellbaker. I have a picture from 1977, I believe, of Johnny Murphy. They ran Super Sportsman there as well. Modifieds, electrifying Elvin Feldy. And yeah, all those guys. So yeah, no, they did, but now it's closed. Is the JMR 14 still running the Natty O with a different driver? No, it is not. They will be off this week. Little Freddie has shown some good speed at the Grove the last 2 weeks. Yes, he has. He's got to get qualified in better. Last week, timed 8th. Wasn't bad. Caught a break in a heat race, and that put him up front. Drew a good number for the dash. He's got to qualify better. And you're going to bring in a lot of fast cars this week. So it's going to come down to qualifying is going to be huge. Do you know who the new driver is for LFG Racing, formerly Factor This Racing X Team? I do not. I saw the post. I got to make some calls on it. I just haven't gotten a chance to do it, unfortunately, but it's something that I'm working on. I want to know if the X is going to go away or what's going on with that. Who got busted for tires with USAC? That I'm unaware of. I did not hear anything about that as of yet. Sorry. If only the Grove could bottle up the formula from the banger race between Freddie and Lance 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it was really good. Hopefully they get it wide and slick, and we see that. Hopefully. Any chance Sealands Grove gets another look for a national tour stop next year? High Limit or Woo All-Stars at a minimum. I don't know. I don't know about the seating capacity. That's the tricky part. You got to make it work. You got to, you got to have enough seats to make it worthwhile. Jeremy, has Chaz asked you for pointers on how you can do a live show in its entirety without taking a bathroom break? No. I'll tell you what, though. I can't talk as long as that guy can. I can't do it. I just can't. 4-hour shows, 3-hour shows. You got to be kidding me. Like, I'm done in 2 minutes. That's it. We're going to wrap up in 2 minutes, whether my producer, Eric, wants to or not. We're not going for another 20 minutes after this. I have some stuff I got to get on, and I got to make some calls. Do you see Chico Saturday night? They threw a red for a fight in the stands. Why am I not surprised? No, I did not see that. I see Andy Forsberg won. He has double-digit wins this year. And I think it's Justin Sanders has 15. I think Forsberg has 10. I did not see the fight in the stands, though. Is Kurt Williamson still involved in sprint car racing? Yes, he is. He has worked on Jeff Halligan's car this year and has helped out a couple other guys. So, yes, he is still in the pit area. Underrated guy. Memories of Eddie Leavitt. Sugar Bear. Jeremy, will you be celebrity judge for the chili cook-off? Nobody's asked me, and I'm not a chili guy. I do not eat chili. Sorry, I do not eat chili. So I'd be the wrong guy to ask. What teams are PA losing next year? You're losing Travis Esch's team, so Aaron Bollinger's be looking for a ride. I'll have that on the 90 at 9 tomorrow. And the 1X, the Flying Fish, Chad Trout, I think they are scaling back as well. That's Randy Oberlander. All right, that's a wrap. Again, thank you to everybody for joining the show. I appreciate it greatly. And, stay tuned to SprintCarUnlimited.com all week for your sprint car needs. Also to our YouTube channel. We'll have plenty of content. And we'll be back next week with another show. Stay tuned.